Biology, science, and evolution describing the financial markets. Okay, let me use the human body as the financial markets. The blood is the market pumping the money through the body, through the arteries, into the vein, and then it flows back through the arteries back into the heart after it goes through all the organs, which are your businesses, and all the money flow going through. Okay, the brain makes a decision. And politics is no more than just the clothing. Markets can wear any clothing. It depends what clothing they want that's going to create their mindset of what health they want of the body. Okay, so now we understand the markets and the human body. So the question is, how many human bodies do we have out there now? We used to have a lot. Now we don't have very many. United States, we basically have one giant. That's the problem. It's not about socialism or capitalism. It's about this financial market has gotten so big that the separation of powers in our government has been influenced by the market. So there's the corruption. This market, our forefathers created this incredible government of three parties for the reason of separation. The separation was to keep the powers. They understood certain powers could not have so much control. That was the whole part of the separation. Now we have this huge giant of a body that is controlling the financial markets. One huge body. They are controlling all three branches of the government, except we do now have a president that is unique, that's not in the political system, wasn't in the past political system. So he's not being controlled by the financial markets because he was a billionaire before he came in. But that giant has been controlling the branches of government for decades. Okay, so now how many other bodies do we have overseas? We're basically now down to one, which is Europe. Okay, you've heard me scream about NATO, which has upset me so much that we have 18% of our taxes, and we fight and argue to cut all this money of our own military and our own Social Security and our own Medicare and Medicaid, yet we don't touch the NATO. It's very upsetting to me. Okay, so we have this other body that's over in Europe. Okay, so now if we take away the 600 or 700 billion dollars to NATO, we will completely collapse that other body, that other market. That other market is paying $300 billion a year in pensions. So all these people that are retired in Europe from the NATO, if we quit paying to NATO, they won't have any money anymore on their retirement. $300 billion, you take that out of it. We pay more, $700 billion is more than GDP for many of these European countries. It's unreal. And then I've talked about Deutsche Bank having $46 trillion of derivatives on the books. And the only other bank in Germany is Commerce. Commerce cannot take on Deutsche Bank because it'll end up collapsing both banks. They can't do that. So there's an issue of now you have all these different politics, these different wearing clothes on the market of the body. Okay. Evolution, it shows us, and it's been in the past. You can look at the Romans and everything. We always have this market that ends up growing and growing and growing in control, and it gets corrupt. Like I said, it has nothing to do with socialism or capitalism because that's the clothing of the market. The only way to counterbalance that human body, that market body, is to have another body that can compete and pull from it and take, like a little brother that's saying, no, I need this, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this. That's what has to happen. And that's what I see can happen through advertising. I have something that is so big. We have to create another body. We have to create another market to compete with this giant. It's evolution. It's not going to be good. And politics has nothing to do with it. Politics has nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter if we become socialism or capitalism. This market, this body has become such a giant. It's about to put away all the other bodies in the world. It's about to smash them so that they have no competition. Once that happens, we are in desperation trouble worldwide over this corruption, and it ends with Rome burning down. That's what history shows us. It's time that we use a system, and I have one, that we can implement to bring a new flow of money, and the government has to help supply this new body of money. We have to create these private industries of manufacturers, these private industries of distribution, these private industries of new brands and new retailers. That's what has to happen. This media money has to be taken away from the media companies that have now, and that's taken away through the advertising that's paid by the brands. This is insane. The brands are being killed, and the media companies are taking all this money, and they're not giving back to the brands sufficiently because of this one body is controlling everything. We need another body, and that's what I have.